Shinji Kagawa was one of the biggest football prospects that emerged from Asia in 2010 and received praise from one of the greatest managers of all time, Sir Alex Ferguson. But how did the Japanese footballer end up going from winning the Bundesliga with Dortmund and possibly becoming Asia's most notable footballer to being a free agent and being released by multiple clubs? Kagawa piqued the interest of European football when a manager who was looking to prove himself in the Bundesliga named Jurgen Klopp recruited the young central attacking midfielder back in 2010. Klopp at the time was assembling a team of young prospective footballers to challenge for the title, and in that same transfer window signed an unknown Polish striker, Robert Lewandowski. And it didn't take long for Klopp to be proven that his tactics were genius. Kagawa was an essential tool in the Dortmund squad that season, scoring 8 goals in just 17 games. 2 of those were in the Revier Derby, where they faced FC Schalke, and became a fan favourite for the Germans. He also scored twice in the Europa League, yet it wasn't enough, and Dortmund failed to advance into the knockout stages. Sadly, those were all the games Kagawa was able to play that season, as he picked up a metatarsal fracture while playing for Japan and had to sit out 15 games that season. But Klopp's squad was able to manage without him, and Dortmund lifted the Bundesliga for the first time in 9 years. But Kagawa had just given a teaser of what he was capable of. In the next season, Kagawa would display why he could potentially be considered Asia's most notable footballer by scoring a whopping 13 goals in the Bundesliga, and if that wasn't enough, added 12 assists to his tally in the league. During that season, they also beat Bayern 1-0, twice, Kagawa assisting the rising talent Mario Götze to secure 3 points against the Bavarian Giants. With this talent-packed squad, Kagawa and BVB went on to defend their Bundesliga title again that season and scored and assisted against Bayern Munich in the DFB Pokal final, clinching the title with a 5-2 victory. Although he had won both desired German competitions, he still hadn't found any success on the European stage, as Dortmund went out in the group stages again, this time in the Champions League. But even though this setback must have been devastating, a certain someone was about to lift his spirits. In the summer of 2012, the at the time biggest and most successful club of the Premier League, with Sir Alex Ferguson at the wheel, was looking for an heir to legendary attacking midfielder Paul Scholes. Sir Alex was a big fan of Kagawa and persuaded Man United to sign him for £12 million, following in the footsteps of the iconic Ji-sung Park, Asia's most notable footballer at the time, and gave the 23-year-old praise that would make any footballer's heart flutter, coming from the iconic United manager himself, who said, "Shinji's intelligent, fast, has quick feet, and works very hard. At 23, he already has a couple of years experience at a big club in Borussia Dortmund. It's obvious he's a very good player. We have high hopes for him." But these words, as well as his first season in the Premier League, were overwhelming for Kagawa. He scored twice and assisted once in 6 games before picking up a knee injury that would put him on the sidelines for 11 games. His highlight of his entire Man United career came against Norwich though, where he scored a hat-trick, and the press as well as the manager gave him some slack, stating that there was more to come from him after this performance. But they were wrong. Kagawa would only score 1 more goal that season on Sir Alex's last day as United manager, yet was still buzzing as he celebrated United's last Premier League triumph until this very day. Wait, make sure you subscribe and like the video if you haven't already to grow this incredible community. Now, back to the video. And next season, a new era began at Old Trafford, Kagawa being among the players who didn't perform under the new management and the press constantly reminding him that he is not living up to his expectations. Throughout all competitions that season, Kagawa only managed 4 assists and was benched or not even called up to the squad regularly. As his stint in the Premier League was clearly not going as he expected it to, Kagawa returned to Dortmund in the summer of 2014, Kagawa stating, "The day I left, I said in an interview that the chapter in Borussia Dortmund was not closed in my life. I wanted to fulfill my dream of playing in the Premier League. Now I am simply delighted to be back in Dortmund with this fantastic team and setup and these unique fans." On his second debut, Kagawa scored and the fans were ready for the Japanese talent to carry them on to another Bundesliga title. In reality, the outcome was completely different though. Kagawa would score 4 more goals in the Bundesliga and did reach the DFB Pokal final, yet Wolfsburg ended up snatching the title away from them. His next season was actually not too bad, scoring and assisting a total of 13 times, coming runners-up in the league as well as the DFB Pokal. In the next season, however, his impact was barely visible. The only real achievement of his was becoming the Bundesliga's greatest Japanese goalscorer, engraving his name in the history books as the most notable Asian footballer in Germany, and finally winning the DFB Pokal at the end of the season. In the 17-18 season, his impact was still barely visible, scoring and assisting on rare occasions and missing the last 9 games of the season due to an ankle injury. Although I am unable to find a reasoning as to why Kagawa was left out of the Dortmund squad in the 18-19 season, in the January transfer market, he joined Besiktas on loan until the end of the season. He became an instant fan favourite there, scoring twice in the space of 9 minutes on his debut, and then only scored 2 more times in the next 12 games, heading back to Germany without knowing where his next stint was going to take place. La Liga clubs were showing interest in him, particularly Celta Vigo, but at the end of the summer, Kagawa joined Real Zaragoza, a Spanish second division team looking to be promoted to La Liga. This plan fell through pretty quickly though, as in 31 league games, Kagawa only scored 4 times and fans got fed up with him. And so in the summer of 2020, Zaragoza ended the contract with Kagawa as he was one of the highest paid players in the squad, the club itself looking to make ends meet due to the ongoing pandemic. And so Kagawa was left without a club for 3 months, looking for another European club to take him in. Would this be the end to one of Asia's most iconic footballers' career? In the January transfer market, PAOK Thessaloniki took him in, and during his 1-year duration at the club, played 12 games for the club in all competitions where he achieved 1 assist, and after his contract was mutually terminated, he apologised to the supporters for not fulfilling his expectations and headed off to the Belgian league to represent St. Truden. In his first 6 games for the Belgian mid-table team, he achieved an assist, and in the next season he played 12 games and scored twice. In November last year, he then picked up a foot injury that left him out of the squad for 6 games, which gave him time to make the decision that his time in Europe was up. The 34-year-old's career has seemingly come full circle though, by returning to Japan after 13 years in Europe and rejoining his boyhood club Cerezo Osaka, where he is a consistent first-team player and has even captained the team on multiple occasions. Although he confirmed his European stint as officially over, it's sad that we never got to see Kagawa establish himself as the biggest talent to emerge from Asia, as Heung-min Son has taken over that role and is an icon in European football. But in Japan, Kagawa has become a legend, as the Japanese football youth looks up to him, trying to follow in his footsteps. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you in the next one. Bye.